Hi, my name is Rianne Salter with Minding My Books. I'm a QuickBooks solution provider and reseller of QuickBooks products. This video starts our series presentation of getting started with QuickBooks Online. I know it can be overwhelming to start a new accounting software system, so I have created a video series how to set up the software in an easy to understand step-by-step process. Keep in mind that I will be using QuickBooks Online Advanced throughout the training. This series presentation will include the following topics for QBO getting started: how to navigate the dashboard, how to set up your preferences in accountant settings, how to set up and customize your chart of accounts, how to set up and import your customers, how to set up and import your vendors, how to set up and import your products and services, how to set up sales tax, and working with the banking center. If you haven't yet, the first step is to purchase QuickBooks Online. Please click here or the link in the description labeled New Subscribers. If you are moving from QuickBooks Desktop, click here or in the link Moving from Desktop to purchase QuickBooks Online and get free migration from QuickBooks Desktop. Keep in mind that if the offers change over time, each site will reflect the current promotion offering. Purchasing from my links gives you the best discount available through Intuit, and I receive a commission. This allows me to keep creating videos for you to help you get the most from QuickBooks software. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe to my channel along with notify so that you will receive more videos showing new features and how-tos in the future. If you are still not sure which QuickBooks software product is right for you, please email me at rianne.salter@mindingmybooks.com or choose the Discovery Call link, Contact Us, to schedule a consultation. Don't forget that I will be using QuickBooks Online Advanced for my training. If there are features that seem to be missing, it's probably because you need to upgrade from your Simple Start, Essentials, or Plus subscription. All right, let's get started. After signing into QuickBooks Online, you will be required to answer questions about your business. This helps set up your company file and tailor the program to better fit your needs. First, enter your legal business name. Then answer how you manage your business finances currently. Choose how many years you've been in business. Choose if your company is an LLC, and then choose your tax designation. Enter I'm not sure if you need to ask your accountant. When they ask what's your industry, I would suggest to leave the field blank and select Skip for now. This will reduce the number of account categories that auto-populate during this process. If you do not want a default set of accounts, enter your industry. Enter your main role with this company. Choose who is a part of your team. Answer if you have an expert to help you with your books. When they ask what apps you use for your business, I would select Skip for now. Answer the rest of the questions, but skip for now when you are able. Keep in mind these questions may change with time. If the Setup Checklist window appears, simply click the three dots and close the window. We will go through the setup process together. Once the new company setup process is complete, you will automatically land on the Dashboard tab under Getting Things Done. The icons shown in this screen are shortcuts to various areas of QuickBooks Online. Next is the Business Overview tab, which monitors the activity and status of your company. You're able to access your data and drill down to detailed information with a simple click. The links on the left side act as your menu bar and will take you to frequently used areas in QuickBooks Online. This is also known as the left navigation bar. Use the new icon to manually input data for customers, vendors, employees, and other. The dashboard view may vary from one company user to another. QuickBooks Online determines what information it displays by each user's access rights. Next, click on My Experts. If you purchase QuickBooks Online Advanced, you will have access to VIP Priority Circle support. Here you can conveniently call, email, or schedule an appointment with your dedicated account team whenever you need help. You also have access to on-demand training valued at $3,000 so you and your team can master new features. Lastly, you get a direct line to a top-level product expert who can help keep you up and running. Because my subscription is a trial, it just shows that I need to subscribe to get full access. If you're looking to have someone clean up and review your past transactions to get you caught up and then manage your ongoing bookkeeping, I would highly recommend looking into live bookkeeping from QuickBooks. I will click on See Pricing to give you an idea of the cost to clean up your books and the ongoing cost afterwards. Click the Help icon to address questions for specific areas of QuickBooks. The search icon will allow you to easily search recent and historical transactions. You can enter a transaction number, date, amount, and other fields for a simple search. Then select Advanced Search to filter specific transaction types. I use the Advanced Search all the time, especially when I'm reconciling and looking for a specific transaction or dollar amount. Click the bell icon to view recent notifications. The gear icon gives you access to company default settings under your company, list, and tools. The company settings are to set up or change your preferences. List will allow you to get into any list available in QuickBooks as needed. The tools are quick links to import data and reconciling your books. If your left navigation bar looked different than what mine looks like, I might have your answer. There are two ways to view the left navigation bar. Click on the gear icon unless you're already there. Click Switch to Accountant or Business View. The Business View changes the work, banking to transactions, and adds the cash flow feature. We will continue to use the Accountant View instead of Business View. Again, your subscription may look slightly different depending on which version you are using. It is also possible updates have been made. Next, we will go through Accountant Settings to set up our preferences with QuickBooks Online features. Now let's talk about Accountant Settings. Use Accountant Settings to turn on, off QuickBooks Online features. It is important to turn off features you will not be using because it creates less fields during the input process. It is okay to turn on features as the need arises, but we are going to go through each section so that you can set up your company settings and data correctly. You can always change a setting, but with this training, you will understand what the setting represents. Go to Settings with the gear icon and choose Account and Settings. Let's start with the Company tab. Company Settings is where you enter info about your business, like your contact and tax information. This is used when you communicate with customers and vendors. To get started, click on the pencil icon or click anywhere in the highlighted space. Let's start with your logo. Click on the plus sign to upload your company's logo. After you choose your logo from the computer, QuickBooks automatically adds it to your invoices or wherever you email or print something for your customers like statements. Next, let's add your company name, which shows up on printed or emailed sales forms and purchase orders. If your legal name, which appears on tax forms, is different, uncheck that box next to the same as company name and enter the legal name in the box provided. Your customers can see one name, but your legal information is still captured on official documents in QuickBooks. The last part of this section lets you enter your federal employer identification or Social Security number. Save any new information edited or added. In the Company Type section, click on the pencil icon or highlighted area. Choose the tax form you use when filing your yearly taxes, and you can also enter what industry your business is in. Click Save once complete. Click on the pencil icon or highlighted area to enter your contact info. First, enter your company email. If you have a different email you'd like customers to contact you at, uncheck this box and enter it in the customer-facing email field. Enter your phone number along with your website information, which will show in the QuickBooks Business Network and on sales forms. Click Save when finished. Click on the pencil icon to enter your address. Your address is important because QuickBooks uses it to calculate taxes like the sales tax you charge customers and state payroll taxes. It's usually included whenever you send a sales form or purchase order. Edit the second address box if you want customers to send payments or write back to you at a different address. Uncheck this checkbox and enter your customer-facing address. Click Save once done. Lastly, in the third address box, you can also have a different address that's used wherever you file your taxes. Make any changes and save. To change your communications with Intuit, click on the Marketing Preferences and the link will take you to your Intuit account. That completes our company settings. The Billing and Subscription section provides you with your company ID information and QuickBooks subscription information, along with any apps you have used in the past or are currently registered with. The Usage tab allows how many billable users you have, along with how many are available with your subscription. With my QuickBooks Online Advanced plan, I have up to 25 users plus unlimited access to the chart of accounts, classes and locations, and tags. Now let's click the Sales tab in the left menu bar. The Sales tab allows you to customize your sales forms and content based on your business needs. You can start by choosing the custom look and feel. Here, you can choose from the standard form or create a new style. I will choose a new style for an invoice. You can customize your design, content, and email information. Since this is more involved than setting up a preference, we will cover this in more detail in a separate video. Let's move on to the sales form content section. Click the pencil icon to customize your preferences. Choose the default payment date to show on invoices to your customers. I will choose due on receipt. Next, choose your preferred delivery method, whether you want to print later, send later, or you don't want to have a default method. If you want to add shipping fields that will add date, tracking number, destination, and subtotal to your sales forms, make sure your button is turned on. To add custom fields, click on the link shown under Custom Fields. Here's what the screen looks like. I have another video that demonstrates how to set up your custom fields. Turn on if you want to use your own custom transaction numbers instead of QuickBooks self-generated numbers. Turn on to add a service date field if you need to track the date a service was performed separately from the invoice date. Turn on to add a discount field to invoices and other sales forms. Turn on to add a deposit field to invoices so that you can subtract a customer deposit from the total to calculate the balance due. Turn on to add a tips field to sales receipts. Turn on if you want to add tags to track sales in a certain way. Once you've finished, choose Save. In the Products and Services section, you choose how to track the things you sell or services you provide. I would highly suggest turning on to add a product service column on sales forms so you can choose from a list of products and services to include if you sell any kind of product or keep track of inventory. If you need to associate barcodes to your products, turn on the Show SKU column feature. Price Rules is in beta, but like QuickBooks Enterprise, you can create multiple price rules to provide discounts for specific products to certain customers for a specified amount of time. Turn on if needed. Turn on Track Quantity and Price Rate to add a quantity and rate field to sales forms so you can track this information for product and services. If you need to track inventory quantity on hand, turn on this option. This is the same as inventory parts in QuickBooks Desktop. Once you're finished, choose Save. If you charge late fees to your customers, click on the pencil icon or Late Fees section to turn on the preference. Then choose whether it's a flat fee or a percentage of the remaining balance. Next, enter the amount or percentage depending on the type along with the frequency. Choose the grace period, which begins after the due date, if any. Enter the item name that will appear on the invoice. Keep in mind that you can customize these settings for individual customers from your dashboard under Customers. If you invoice your customers multiple times from a single estimate, you will want to turn on Progress Invoicing. An example would be a construction company who invoices many times throughout the progress of the project. Click Save if any changes were made. If you email sales forms such as invoices, estimates, and sales receipts, to name a few, You will want to edit the message section to customize your default template for each sales form. Choose Save when finished. If you choose to use the feature to send out reminder emails, click in the Reminders section to view your message template and make any changes as needed. Click Save if you made any changes. Again, if you are emailing your sales forms, you can customize how your customer views the email through the online delivery section. Your options are to view as a short summary or give full details to be shown within the email. You can also choose whether to attach a PDF of the form and whether to show the invoice as an online invoice, HTML format, or plain text. Click Save once finished. Statements is the last option within the Sales tab. Here you can customize whether to show an aging table at the bottom of the customer statement. It will list the amount owed by how many days overdue. You can choose how much detail to give to your customer, whether to list each transaction as a single line or add all detail lines too. Click Save when finished. That concludes our sales settings. Let's move on to the Expenses tab. Do you need to track the profitability of your jobs by customer or project? In the Bills and Expenses section, you can choose how you want to track your information. Let's get started. In my opinion, I don't know why QuickBooks offers you an option to show the items table on expense and purchase forms. This is an integral part of QuickBooks keeping track of your information. This allows you to add a product and/or service on your expense and purchase forms, while behind the scenes categorizes the product or service in the correct chart of accounts automatically. If you want to assign tags on expense and purchase orders for reporting purposes, make sure this option is turned on. To track expenses and items by customer, choose to enable. This will create a customer column on your expense and purchase forms so you can track expenses and items by customer. The next option is to make expenses and items billable. This feature allows you to use one or more income accounts to track billable expenses and items on sales forms. When you enable this option, you can choose to mark up your expenses and items at a default rate. You can also choose to track billable expenses as income and if you need to charge sales tax. Lastly, you can choose your default bill payment terms. I'll choose net 15 and save. If you're going to use purchase orders, make sure this option is turned on. If you want to add custom fields to your purchase order form, click the link to take you to the setup screen. This will allow you to enter your custom fields to show in the header of your purchase order. Let's go back to our account and settings form. Next, in the purchase order section is the custom transaction numbers feature. This allows you to use your own numbering system. If the field is left blank or you don't enable this feature, QuickBooks will automatically assign a number to your purchase order. If you're going to email purchase orders to your vendors, you can create a default message or make any changes to your current default message. Click Save when finished. QuickBooks Payments let you accept credit cards, debit cards, and ACH bank transfers. QuickBooks processes the payment and records the transaction for you. You can take payments directly from customers on your computer or mobile phone. either manually or with a credit card reader. You can also include payment options on invoices so that your customers can pay you faster. Your first payment you take will show up in your bank within 5 days. After that, you should see the payments deposit much faster, even on the same day for eligible accounts. If you signed up for QuickBooks Online through my Intuit link, you not only received a QuickBooks Online discount, you should automatically be signed up with preferred rates that save you more than the rates shown here for credit card processing. Click Connect. You should see your payments account and choose it to be able to accept payments. If QuickBooks couldn't find your payments account information, click on my link below and fill out your contact information to receive preferred rates with a sign-up form. Also, if you process more than $7,500 per month with credit cards, please enter your estimated amount to receive up to a 40% discount on processing costs. For high volume processing, we will have our Intuit Payments rep reach out to give you a customized quote. Keep in mind there are no upfront fees, no contract, and everything syncs automatically within QuickBooks. The time section is for companies that need to track their employees' time for payroll or billing purposes. Here you can choose the first day of the work week, and with the timesheet preferences, you can choose to show the service field for job costing, and if you bill for services, choose Allow Time to be Billable. If you need a more sophisticated time tracking system, QuickBooks Time is a seamless software solution. Click on my link below to learn more and get a discount for purchasing. The Advanced Settings tab is an important part of how QuickBooks works for your company. For example, you enter important accounting information for reporting purposes. Use class tracking and location to track sales and expenses in specific divisions and/or locations. And turn on automation features to work smarter. Let's go over advanced settings so you can decide what works best for you. Click in the accounting section. If your fiscal year is a different month than January, change it here. Next, choose the first month of your income tax year. Some companies will have a different fiscal year for accounting purposes, but use January as the first month of your income tax year. Choose whether your income tax year is the same as your fiscal year or January the first month of the new year. Choose your accounting method. Your options are accrual or cash basis. When using the cash accounting method, you record income and expenses at the time you receive the payment or pay a bill. A cash basis report will count income or expenses only when you receive a payment or pay a bill. When using the accrual accounting method, you record income and expenses when you send the invoice or receive the bill. An accrual basis report will count income and expenses regardless of when the invoice or bill was paid or not. Personally, I use the accrual method with my QuickBooks, but you can run reports with the cash basis. Next, let's talk about closing the books. If you use this feature, you can choose a closing date along with what permission to give the person trying to change or add a transaction after the closing date. You can simply give them a warning or have them enter a password to accept the new information. Keep in mind, if you don't enter a closing date and you close the period for financials, it can cause a lot of issues going back to figure out why your books don't match with your CPA or tax accountant. Click Save to save your changes. The next section is Company Type. This is where you choose your tax form your company is registered to file. If you don't know, choose Not Sure, Other, None. Save any changes. The Chart of Accounts section allows you to choose whether to enable account numbers. Some companies use them to categorize their finances. If you use them, enable the setting, then checkmark the Show Account Numbers if you want the account numbers to be shown on reports and transactions. The next area to set up is if you turned on shipping, discount, and tips within the sales tabs in the sales form content. To show you where this shows on the sales forms, I will take you to my invoice screen. If you chose shipping to be added to your sales form, you will need to assign the correct income account to be associated with the amount. For example, if I enter $200 to be charged for shipping, then it should show on the profit and loss as $200 in whatever account I had chosen. In my case, it's shipping income. This box shows on the bottom of your form before the total invoice amount. I also had chosen discounts to show on my sales form. Choose your discount account associated so that you can track your total discounts given to customers. The same goes for the tips account. Keep in mind that the tips account will only show on sales receipts. Choose the income account this should be associated with. I don't use tips, so leave the field blank. If you enable the feature to make expenses and items billable and checkmarked any of the options, you will need to choose the accounts that the income will be attributed to. Save any changes that you've made. In the Category section, you can choose whether to use class tracking and locations. These are popular features and it lets you track specific segments of your transactions based on departments, locations, and product lines. For example, a construction company might want to get a profit and loss statement based on their residential sales compared to their commercial sales. If you enable this feature, checkmark the box if you want the system to warn when a transaction isn't assigned a class. Next, choose if you want to add a class to each transaction or the entire transaction. This would depend on if your classes will be divided into different classes on a transaction, or if not, it's easier to classify over the entire transaction. The Track Location feature allows you to track stores, sales regions, and countries. For example, I have rental companies who will use their property addresses for this feature so that they can see their profit on each location. Once you enable the feature, you need to choose a location label to be shown on the forms. Save any changes you made. I'm going to go to Enter an Invoice so that you can see where the fields show on the form. Location is shown in the upper right, and class is shown for each transaction. If I had chosen over the entire transaction, it would have shown in the header part of the invoice. Let's move on to the next section. In the Automation section, you can enable the feature to pre-fill forms with previously entered content. What that means is if you pay your electric company $200 and it gets posted to your utility account, then the next time you enter your vendor, which for us is consumers' energy, the utility account will automatically show on the transaction. Next is to automatically apply credits. Let's say you go to enter an invoice for a customer. If there are any credits showing for that customer, it will automatically add the credits, which will reduce their amount due. If you take security deposits, do not enable this feature. If you enter unbilled activity with your customers, you can automate it so that it will invoice them without you having to create the invoice and adding the unbilled activity. The notifications will appear in the activity feed on the home page. Last in the automation section is how to apply bill payments. If you choose this feature, it will automatically apply the bill payment to the oldest bill date. Most companies use this feature. Save any changes that you made. If you have the project section and you track your jobs for profitability, you will want to enable this feature. This will show your sales, expenses, and timesheet by project. You could save any changes. The currency section defaults to the United States dollar as the home currency. If you need to change that, you can by choosing the correct currency. If you accept payment with more than one currency, you will want to enable this feature. Keep in mind, you cannot undo multi-currency once you enable it. Save any changes. In the Other Preference section, you can choose your date and number format. Choose the customer label you want to show on sales receipts and invoices. For example, if you are a nonprofit, you will most likely choose donors as your customer label. I would suggest turning on the 3 features that warn you if a duplicate check number, bill number, or journal number is used. If you don't, this could cause double entry or make a mess of your records. The last feature is to choose how long to keep your QuickBooks Online open to your computer before signing out of the software. Save any changes. That concludes our tutorial on account and settings within QuickBooks Online Advanced. Next, we will go through how to set up and customize your chart of accounts. Hi everyone, this video demonstration is next in our series QuickBooks Online Getting Started is working with the chart of accounts. The chart of accounts is a list of categories that make up your balance sheet and profit and loss statements. Every transaction entered in QuickBooks will post to the accounts list. The thing about the chart of accounts is that they are the backbones of your QuickBooks software. You want to make sure this is set up correctly. Whether you received a chart of accounts list from your accountant or you are the accountant and need to customize for yourself. When you purchased your QuickBooks Online software and started with QuickBooks, they asked you to choose your industry, which in turn, they gave you a generic set of accounts based on your answer. If you recall, I suggested to leave the field blank and select Skip for now to get a very limited chart of accounts. In this demonstration, we will go through how to manage your current chart of accounts, how to add a new account, how to edit an account, how to make an account inactive, how to merge accounts, how to add a sub-account, and last, how to import a batch of accounts. The first step is going to the chart of accounts preferences to make sure the settings are correct. Let's go to the gear icon and choose Account and Settings. Select Advanced from the left-hand side. Choose Chart of Accounts. The Chart of Accounts section allows you to choose whether to enable account numbers. Some companies use them to categorize their finances. If you use them, enable the setting. Then checkmark the Show Account Numbers if you want the account numbers to be shown on reports and transactions. The next area to set up is if you turned on shipping, discount, and tips within the Sales tab in Sales Form Content. To show you where this shows on the sales form, I will take you to my invoice screen. If you chose shipping to be added to your sales form, you will need to assign the correct income account to be associated with that amount. For example, if I enter $200 to be charged for shipping, then it will show on the profit and loss as $200 in whatever account I had chosen. In my case, it's shipping income. This box shows on the bottom of your form before the total invoice amount. I had also chosen discounts to show on my sales form. Choose your discount account associated so that you can track your total discounts given to your customers. The same goes for the tips account. Keep in mind that the tips account will only show on the sales receipts. Choose the income account this should be associated with. Now that the preferences are set up correctly, let's go to our current chart of account list. If you haven't already, click on the gear icon, then click on Chart of Accounts under your company section. This takes you to the Chart of Accounts list page. Let's say you need to inactivate the accounts that QuickBooks imported. You would checkmark the accounts to make inactive, then select Batch Actions, Make Inactive. Type an account name in the Filter by Name field to search for an account. Click the pencil icon to edit multiple chart of account names. Click the printer icon to print a list of your chart of accounts. Click the gear icon to add or remove display columns, change the number of rows, or include inactive accounts. Click View Register to manage transactions for a specific account. Click the drop-down list to connect your bank, edit, make inactive, or run reports. Click the header name to sort by column. As we discussed, you can print the account list by clicking on the print icon, or even better, click on the Run Report in the upper right-hand corner next to the New button. Your account list is shown in report format. Click on the gear icon to change the current display, add or reorder columns, create filters, and customize your report header. Click on the download icon to export to Excel or Google Sheets, or create a PDF. You can click on the printer or envelope icon to print, email, or save as a PDF. One of my favorite things is that you can click on any row in each column and it will bring up that specific account information. You can make any changes that are needed except change the balance. If you need to make any accounts inactive, you will have to do that from the Chart of Accounts list page. Next, we'll talk about adding a new account. To add a new account, click the green New button in the top right-hand corner. Let's create a new account and name it Ask My Accountant. Enter your account type that correlates with your financial statement account type. This account type is called Other Expense. Enter the detail type for example. If you choose the account type Other Expense, QuickBooks will give you a list of options associated with Other Expense. Ours is Other Miscellaneous Expense. This is a required field, and honestly, I'm not sure why this is a required field because I think the account type is more important. Next, enter the name that will show on your financial statements. I will enter Ask My Accountant. This is a required field. Enter the account number you want associated with that account, if applicable. This will also show on financial statements if you had chosen the preference in your account settings. Enter a description if you'd like. I will leave this field blank. This will position the account at the bottom of your profit and loss statement, where it will stand out as a reminder to address or research questionable transactions before processing financials for the month or year. Click Save and Add New to add another account, or Save and Close to return to the Chart of Accounts list. To edit an account, go to your Chart of Accounts list and you locate the account you would like to edit. In this example, the loan payable is a 5-year vehicle loan and should be categorized as a long-term liability instead of a current liability. From the Action menu column, click the drop-down list, choose Edit. Use the Account Type drop-down list to change the type from Other Current Liabilities to Long-Term Liabilities. Change the detail type to Notes Payable and change the name and description to be more specific. Remember to click Save and Close. To make an account inactive, from the Chart of Accounts list, click one time to highlight the account you would like to inactivate. For this example, we will inactivate the miscellaneous account. Click Make Inactive in the Action column drop-down list. An alert will pop up and ask you to confirm. Click Yes. The miscellaneous account will no longer appear in the Chart of Accounts list. However, the account is technically inactive and will appear on the list when you choose Include Inactive from the gear icon. Now we're going to talk about merging accounts. Merging accounts is helpful if 2 or more accounts are being used for the same types of transactions, and you want to combine the transactions into a single account. Keep in mind that the merge process cannot be undone and is permanent. It is important to confirm that the merge process will not affect the financial statements used to file tax returns. It is advisable to discuss the cleanup of your Chart of Accounts with your accountant or pro-advisor before merging accounts. In this example, we have 2 accounts being used to track accounting expenses. For the merge to work, the account type and detail type must be the same for accounts you intend to merge. When merging sub-accounts, both accounts must be the sub of the same parent account. Highlight the name Accounting and copy the account name. Click the Cancel button in the lower left to return to the Chart of Accounts setting list. Select the account bookkeeper. Click Edit from the Action column drop-down list. Highlight the name Bookkeeper and paste to replace Bookkeeper with Accounting. Click Save. Next, we're going to talk about sub-accounts. Sub-accounts are a great way to organize your chart of accounts when used properly. It is important to select sub-accounts in all transactions and avoid using the main account. Click New from the Chart of Accounts list. In this example, we will create sub-accounts for automobile expenses. The account type is Expenses, the detail type is Auto, and the name is Automobile. Edit Insurance, License, and Service accounts to add automobile expense as the sub-account. Now that we have created a main account for automobile and sub-accounts for insurance, license, and service, the chart of accounts will look like this. Lastly, we're going to talk about importing your chart of accounts list. If you would like to import your list, you can click on the arrow on the New button in the right-hand corner. Choose Import. If this is your first time using QuickBooks Import feature, you will need your chart of account on one file and sheet. The top row must have your header title for each column of information so that you can map to your QuickBooks import. Next, choose whether to import a CSV, Excel, or from a Google Sheet. I will demonstrate from the Excel file. If I click into the sample file, I can enter an account number, if applicable, account name, account type, and detail type. If the type and detail type is not spelled exactly like the spelling in QuickBooks, you will get an error. Once your chart of account sheet is completed, save the file. Then browse to choose the file. Click Next in the bottom right-hand corner. Now you will need to map your fields with QuickBooks Online fields. QuickBooks will automatically map the fields for you unless the names don't match or you don't have any information listed in the details section of the column. Choose Next. Make any changes or additions you may need. Choose Next to accept changes. You will get a message telling you how many accounts successfully imported into QuickBooks Online. Hi everyone, this video demonstration is the next in our series, QuickBooks Online Getting Started, Working with Customers. Let's talk about customers. You need to add your customers in the customer list so you can use them when entering estimates, invoices, and income, along with keeping track of income billed or received for job profitability with your customers. In this demonstration, we will go through how to add a new customer, add a sub-customer, import a batch of customers, manage your customers, edit a customer, make a customer inactive, and lastly, merge customers. There are two ways to create a customer in your software. In the first example, we will talk about how to set up one individual customer so that you can see what fields are available for each customer. If you're in the Accountant view, go to Manage Customers from your dashboard screen. select Customers. If you are in the business view, select Sales and Expenses. Next, select Customers. Then choose New Customer. I'm going to bring up Christy Abercrombie and go through each field. First, enter your customer's title and name to any field that applies. Enter your customer company name. Since Christy is a residential customer, there's no company name that applies. The display name is a required field. It is a unique name that you use to quickly search for their information. It can even be an account number. Add your display name or choose the display name that you want to quickly identify them and their history. You can also choose to have the display name print on checks. Enter their email and enter multiple emails by adding commas in between. Enter their company phone, mobile, and fax number in case anyone still owns a fax. Enter any other phone numbers in customer's website if needed. We will go through how to set up a sub-customer a little bit later in the video. Enter their billing address and shipping address. Add any notes pertaining to this customer, such as the note shown. If you have any attachments, such as a sales tax exemption certificate, you can attach it here. In the Payment and Billing tab, you can choose their preferred payment method, preferred delivery method, the terms you agreed upon. You can choose a different language than English to send your invoices to. Enter any tax information. If the customer is either tax exempt or if they are taxable, you can choose their default sales tax location. Add any information in the Custom Field tab if needed. If you would like to add more fields, you can click on Manage Custom Fields to take you to the Custom Fields screen. Once complete, click Save. Let's select Christy from our customer list. You can see the display name, sub-customer name, with the email link and phone number shows first. The company name shows underneath if there was one added, along with the address. Any notes are shown in the header also. The transaction list shows any transactions pertaining to the customer. Projects show any projects you have set up for job tracking. The customer detail sections show the information we entered. Late fees show, you guessed it, any late fees they've generated. Also, you can create sub-customers of main customers. These are also known as parent accounts. This is useful if you want to separate different jobs or locations belonging to one parent account. For example, you can see the customer Christy Abercrombie in the parent account and family room is the job name. They also added kitchen and remodeled bathroom as other jobs. This way, any invoices or expenses can be tracked by each remodel. Normally, we would start by adding a new customer, but I'm going to click into Family Room and select Edit to show how the job was added. Enter the name and company if needed. Here, they added Family Room as their job name. Add the billing and shipping address that applies to this job. Checkmark Sub-Customer. They chose Christy Abercrombie. Select Bill with Parent if you want to bill the customer with the parent billing and shipping address, or select Bill this customer If you want to bill the sub-customer individually, select Save. You can run reports on each of Christy's jobs, or you can run them for a total profit and loss. Keep in mind, you can have unlimited sub-customers. Parent accounts can have up to 4 levels down of sub-customers. The second way to create customers is to import the customer list in batch entry. I will go through the steps to show how to successfully import multiple customers at one time. First, select the gear icon on the top right of your web page. Choose Import Data located in the Tools section of the dashboard. A few things to keep in mind is to keep your customers on one sheet and CSV or Excel file. The top row of the file has to contain the header title for each column of information so that QuickBooks can match the columns with your file. The customer name is the only field that is required, but I feel like you may want to have more information to make it worth your time. I'm going to show you the sample template sheet QuickBooks provides. You can use this template to add your own information. Just delete the content under the header row. As we talked about before, to make sure we meet their requirements, you are using one file on one sheet. You can import the name, company, customer type, email address, phone, mobile. There we go again with the fax. Sorry if anyone out there still uses a fax machine. Website address, billing address, and an opening balance. And resale number, which is the same as a tax-exempt number. Keep in mind, if you would like to add sub-accounts to the parent account, you would enter the parent account first, which is Bob Wiley, and garage remodel shown after a colon, showing as Bob Wiley, garage remodel. Once you are finished, save your file. Next, choose your file that your customer import is located. Our file is a saved CSV file. You can also choose a file saved as a Google Sheet. Next, you match the QuickBooks Online fields with the fields from your CSV or Excel spreadsheet. Click Next. This screen will alert you of anything that has an error with the red box showing the error and the error message. Here it shows the date is in the incorrect format. Other errors you may see is that the customer type has other types than residential or commercial. To change the customer type, go back to Customer section, choose Customer Types, and select New Customer Types to add to the other types. A screen will occur letting you know how many customers were imported to the customers list. Let's go back to the Customer section and look at Bob Wiley with the garage remodel as the job name. I think you can see how easy it is to batch import multiple customers at once. Not only does QuickBooks Customer Batch Import make it easy, but it also saves you time to do the things you rather do than manually entering each customer separately. Now we'll talk about managing your customers. QuickBooks Online has a place to manage your customers called the Customer Center. The Customer Center is the hub for maintaining customer list, adding invoices, receiving payments, and viewing transactions related to your customers. If you are in the Accountant view, go to Sales from the left sidebar, then choose Customers. If you are in the Business view, select Sales and Expenses. Next, select Customers under the Sales header. The bar at the top of the screen is called a money bar. Click on the colored boxes to filter the customer list and view estimates, any unbilled activity, overdue invoices, open invoices, and invoices paid in the last 30 days. To view the complete list of transactions again, click the blue clear filter View All link. To search for a customer, use the box above the grid. Try searching by company name, contact name, and phone number. You can also choose which information fields show in the grid. Click on the baby gear at the top right of the grid, as opposed to the big main gear with QBO's tools, to add or remove columns. Check Include Inactive to view customers you previously inactivated. Check Include Projects to add to your customer's project. Choose the number of rows to view on each page. Use batch actions to create several statements, email several customers, and inactivate several customer accounts at once. You can also choose customers with the same customer type. Choose Select Customer Type. Select the customer type from the drop-down arrow and then Apply to assign several customer types at once. The other two buttons allow you to print your customer list and export it to PDF or Excel. Click the drop-down arrow in the Action column to receive payments, send reminders, create statements, create invoices, create sales receipts, and estimates. You can select customer types to bring up your customer type list. You can edit, inactivate, and create a new customer type from this screen. Click Customers to go back to your customer page. Click the green New Customer button to create a new customer, or select the drop-down arrow and select Import Customers to take you directly to the Import Customer screen. Next, click on a customer from the list in the Customer Center. Use the bar arrow to search by name or company. Sort by name or open balance. You can collapse the list by clicking the bar arrow icon. Click the symbol icon to add a new customer. Each customer has transaction list and projects, customer details, and late fee tabs containing transaction history, project, and customer information. You can choose to print or export transaction history to Excel. Batch actions include to print transactions, print the packing slip, or send transactions or reminders depending upon the type of transaction you choose. Click the drop-down arrow for Filter to sort by type and date. Click the baby gear icon to select columns to display and whether to have the rows show more compact. Click on the green New Transaction button to create an invoice, create multiple invoices through batch transactions, create a payment, estimate, sales receipt, credit memo, delayed charge, time activity, or statement. Next, we'll talk about editing customer information. Editing customer information is important to ensure all sales receipts and invoices are sent to the correct location or email address. From the Customer Center, click on the customer's name you wish to edit. Click the Edit button to open the customer information window to add or make changes. Click Save when done. Making a customer inactive does not remove them from the system. You will have the option to view inactive customers in the Customer Center. Maintaining your customer list is very useful and cuts down on time searching for customers while entering transactions. From the Customer Center, click the customer you would like to make inactive, click Edit, click the Make Inactive button. Now let's say you have the same customer spelled differently and need the name and transaction history merged into one customer name. Follow these steps. Edit the customer you intend to keep, copy the customer's name, and then click Cancel. Edit the customer you intend to merge and paste to replace the customer's name with the correct name. Click Save. A Please Confirm warning box will appear. Click Yes to confirm. The old customer will be removed from the list and remain in an inactive status. Keep in mind that the merge process cannot be undone. Merging customers is useful when there are duplicate names in the customer list. That concludes our tutorial on working with customers within QuickBooks Online. The next video in this series is how to set up, import, and manage products and services. Hi everyone, this video demonstration is the next in our series, QuickBooks Online Getting Started, Working with Vendors. Let's talk about vendors. You need to add your vendors so that you can use them when entering purchase orders, bills, checks, and expenses, along with keeping track of job costs for your customers. In this demonstration, we will go through how to set up vendor preferences, how to add a new vendor, how to import a batch of vendors, how to manage your vendors, how to edit a vendor, how to make a vendor inactive, how to merge vendors, and lastly, how to add a contractor. Let's get started by setting up your vendor preferences. Go to your gear icon and choose Account and Settings. Choose Expenses. Do you need to track the profitability of your jobs by customer or project? In the Bills and Expenses section, you can choose how you want to track your information. Click on the pencil icon to get started. In my opinion, I don't know why you wouldn't use this feature. This is an integral part of QuickBooks keeping track of your information. Choose Add a Product Service Table on Expense and Purchase Forms so you can itemize products and services. If you want to assign tags on expense and purchase orders for reporting purposes, make sure this option is turned on. To track expenses and item by customer, you will create a customer column on your expense and purchase forms so you can track expenses and items by customer. The next option is to make expenses and items billable. This feature allows you to use one or more income accounts to track billable expenses and items on your sales forms. When you enable this option, you can choose to mark up your expenses and items at a default rate. You can also choose to track billable expenses as income, and if you need to charge sales tax. Lastly, you can choose your default bill payment terms. I'll choose net 15 and save. If you are going to use purchase orders, make sure this option is turned on. If you are going to email purchase orders to your vendors, you can customize your template by clicking into Messages and making any changes as needed. Now let's move on to add a new vendor. There are two ways to create a vendor in your software. In the first example, we will talk about how to set up one individual vendor. A benefit of this is so that you can see what fields are available for each vendor if you decide to batch import. If you are in the Accountant view, go to Expenses from the left toolbar and choose Expenses. Next, select Vendors. If you are in the Business view, select Sales and Expenses. Next, select Vendors under the Expenses header. Then choose New Vendor. I'm going to bring up CU Electric and go through each field with you. First, enter your vendor's company name. Then enter the contact person's title and name to any field that applies. Then choose a display name. Again, the display name is a required field. It is a unique name that you use to search for your vendor's information. It can even be an account number. Add your own display name or choose the display name that you want to quickly identify them and their history. Next, enter your contact's email address. Enter their company phone, mobile, and fax number. Enter any other phone numbers and vendor's website if applicable. Enter the name you want to print on your check to that vendor. In the address section, enter their billing address. In the notes and attachments section, add any notes pertaining to this vendor along with any attachments. In the additional information section, enter their tax ID number and check mark if you will track payments so that you can send them a 1099 for tax reporting purposes. You can enter an hourly billing rate underneath the expense rates header if they are a subcontractor and you will track their time, or to enter a default rate with the number of hours worked on a project. In the payments section, enter your default terms and account number associated with their vendor account. In the accounting section, choose their default category such as utility expense or subcontractor expense, whichever applies to the work they will be doing. You can leave this field blank. You can enter an opening balance and as of date if this is a new vendor. Keep in mind that once you save the vendor information, you can't go back in and enter a beginning balance afterwards. The last section is custom fields. You can enter information in the current fields listed, and you can add a custom field. Once you complete your vendor setup form, click Save. The second way to create vendors is to import the vendor list in batch entry. I will go through the steps to show how to successfully import multiple vendors at one time. First, select the gear icon at the top right of your web page. Choose Import Data located in the Tools section of the dashboard. Select Vendors. A few things to keep in mind is to keep your vendors on one sheet and CSV or Excel file. The top row of the file must contain the header title for each column of information so that QuickBooks can match the columns with your file. The vendor name is the only field that is required, but I feel like you may want to have more information to make it worth your time. I'm going to show you the sample template that QuickBooks provides. You can use this template to add your own information. Just delete the content under the header row. As we talked about before, to make sure we meet their requirements, you are using one file on one sheet. You can import the contact name, company name, email address, phone, mobile, or fax machine number, website address, billing address, opening balance and date if needed, and tax ID number if you need to send out a 1099 at the end of the year. You may have noticed that the fields that they don't include are if any notes and attachments, the checkbox to track payments for 1099, billing rate, payment terms, and account number, default expense category, and custom fields. Once you are finished, save your file. Next, choose your file that the vendor import is located. Our file is a saved CSV file. You can also choose a file saved as a Google Sheet. Next, you match the QuickBooks Online fields with the fields from your CSV or Excel spreadsheet. Click Next. This screen will alert you of anything that has an error with a red box showing the error and the error message. Here it shows the date is the incorrect format. Go back to the sheet and fix any errors and save. A screen will occur letting you know how many vendors were imported successfully. I think you can see how easy it is to batch import multiple vendors at once. Not only does QuickBooks Vendor Batch Import make it easy, but also saves you time to do the things you'd rather do than manually entering each vendor separately. QuickBooks Online has a place to manage your vendors called the Vendor Center. The Vendor Center is the hub for cost transactions within QBO. If you are in the Accountant view, go to Expenses from the left sidebar, then the Vendors tab at the top. If you are in the Business view, select Sales and Expenses. Next, select Vendors under the Expenses header. Here we will view open and overdue bills, maintain vendor information, and view historical transactions. The bar at the top of the screen is called a money bar. Click on the colored boxes to filter the vendor list to see who has open purchase orders, overdue bills, open bills, and expenses paid in the last 30 days. To view the complete list of transactions again, click the blue clear filter View All link. To search for a vendor, use the box above the grid. Try searching by company name, contact name, and phone number. You can also choose which information fields show in the grid. Click on the baby gear at the top right of the grid, as opposed to the big main gear with QBO's tools, to add and remove columns. Check Include Inactive to view vendors you previously inactivated. Choose the number of rows to view on each page. To email or inactivate many vendors at once, checkmark the vendors and select Batch Actions to email or inactivate. The other two buttons allow you to print your vendor list and export it to PDF or Excel. Click the drop-down arrow in the Action column to create bills, create expenses, write a check, create a purchase order, or make the vendor inactive. You can choose to prepare 1099s, write checks, or order checks from the drop-down arrow. Click the green New Vendor button or select drop-down arrow and select Import Vendors to take you directly to the Import Vendor screen. Next, click on a vendor from the list in the Vendor Center. Use the bar arrow to search by name or company. Sort by name or open balance. You can collapse the list by clicking the bar arrow icon. Click the symbol icon to add a new vendor. Each vendor has Transaction List and Vendor Details tabs containing transaction history and vendor information. You can choose to print or export transaction history to Excel. Select Transaction, then click the drop-down arrow for batch actions to print or recategorize transactions. Click the drop-down arrow for Filter to sort by type and date. Click the gear icon to select columns to display. Click on the green New Transaction button to create a time activity, batch transactions, bill, expense, check, purchase order, vendor credit, or to pay down a credit card. To edit your vendor's information, click on the vendor in the Vendor Center that you wish to edit. Click the Edit button to open the Customer Information window. Make any changes, then save once finished. Making a vendor inactive does not remove them from the system. You will have the option to view inactive vendors in the Vendor Center. Maintaining your vendor list is very useful and cuts down on the time searching for vendors while entering transactions. From the Vendor Center, click the vendor you would like to make inactive, click Edit, click the Make Inactive button. If you have the same vendor spelled differently and need the name and transaction history merged into one vendor name, follow these steps. Edit the vendor you intend to keep. Copy the vendor's name and then click Cancel. Edit the vendor you intend to merge and paste to replace the vendor's name with the correct name. Click Save. A Please Confirm warning box will appear. Click Yes to confirm. The old vendor will be removed from the list and remain in an inactive status. Keep in mind that the merge process cannot be undone. Now let's talk about working with contractors. 1099 workers are independent contractors who provide a service. In QuickBooks Online, there is a contractors page to set up, create checks, view transaction history, and manage your contractors. If you are in the Accountant view, go to Payroll from the left sidebar, then the Contractors tab. If you are in the Business view from the left sidebar, select Payroll. Next, select Contractors under the Payroll header. To view contractor payment information or print a report for a specific time frame, click on View All Contractor Payments in blue. Choose your time frame for the payment report. Customize the columns by choosing what contractors to include on your report and what columns to include. Once customized, select Run Report. Choose the Share drop-down arrow to export to Excel or print or save to PDF. Once done with your report, choose the blue Back button to take us back to the contractor's page. Enter your contractor's name to search for a specific contractor. You can view the last payment sent by clicking the blue View Last Payment or choosing to write a check, create expense, or create a bill. Choose the Active button to select whether to view active, inactive, or all contractors. Choose Prepare 1099s for the end of the year tax reporting and the ability to e-file with the IRS. E-deliver 1099s to your contractors, which are viewable in a free Intuit account. Then Intuit will print and mail copies of the 1099 to your contractors. Click Add a Contractor button to enter your new contractor's name and email address, which both are required. You can choose whether to email this contractor to complete their profile. They will get their own account to safely share their personal details. To pay multiple contractors on a specific pay date, select the green Pay Contractors button. Choose your bank account that the payments will be deducted from. Choose which contractors to pay, the pay method, if you also set up direct deposit, along with the location if needed. Enter any other details such as account name, description of the work done, which customer the work was performed for, and the class the payment is assigned to. Finally, enter the amount to pay. Click Preview Contractors Pay. The contractor selected will show with the amounts to pay each contractor and the total to be deducted from your checking account. If everything looks good, submit contractor pay. That concludes our tutorial on working with vendors within QuickBooks Online. The next video in our series is how to set up, import, and manage your customer information. Hi everyone, this video demonstration is the next in our series, QuickBooks Online Getting Started, Working with Products and Services. I always tell new users one of the most important parts of QuickBooks setup is the product and service category. If you don't have your items, or also known as product and services, in QuickBooks Online set up with the correct accounts, it's basically garbage in and garbage out. I will go through the correct way to set up your inventory, non-inventory, service, and bundle items. In this demonstration, we will go through how to set up product and service preferences, add an inventory product, add a non-inventory product, add a service, add a bundle, import a batch of products and services, manage your products and services. Before I show you how to set up your products and inventory, let's go to our account and settings to show you your options within QuickBooks. Click the gear icon select Account and Settings, choose Sales, then Products and Services. In the Products and Service section, you choose how to track the things you sell or services you provide. I would highly suggest turning on to add a product service column on sales forms so you can choose from a list of products and services to include, especially if you sell any kind of product or keep track of inventory. If you need to associate barcodes to your products, turn on the Show SKU column feature. Price Rules is in beta right now, but like QuickBooks Enterprise, you can create multiple price rules to provide discounts for specific products to certain customers for a specified amount of time. Turn on if needed. Turn on Track Quantity and Price Rate to add a quantity and rate field to sales forms so that you can track this information for products and services. If you need to track inventory quantity on hand, turn on this option. This is the same as the inventory part in QuickBooks Desktop. Once you're finished, choose Save. Exit from the Account and Settings section. There are two ways to create products and services in your QuickBooks Online software. In this example, we will demonstrate how to add a new inventory item. A benefit of this is so I can explain what each field represents so that you can set yours up correctly and see what fields are available for each product and service if you decide to batch import. If you are in the Accountant view, go to Sales from the left toolbar and choose Products and Services. Next, select New. If you are in the Business view, select Sales and Expenses. Next, select Products and Services under the Sales header. Then choose New. I'm going to choose a current product to go through the setup. If you stock inventory and want to keep track of quantities on hand, you would choose Inventory. Next, enter the inventory name. You want to enter a name that will make it easy for users who are creating bills and sales forms to search for the product. The name of this product is Black Cherry Kitchen Island. If you choose a setting to use SKUs, you would put in the barcode number related to this product. If you don't have one to use, QuickBooks will self-generate one for you. You can copy and paste your name field in the SKU or enter the part number, and it will automatically create the barcode so that is unique. Next, choose a picture of the product if you would like it to show on the product list. Edit and find the picture from your computer or storage device. Next, if you want to use categories similar to how we set up our customers, you can do that here too. We chose to use the Cabinets product as our parent category. If your category hasn't been created yet, you will have to save this new product first and then create the category subproduct and go back to add the parent category. If you use classes to keep track of income and expenses of different segments, enter the class. It would be the default for anyone choosing this product on bills and sales forms. The next field would be your starting quantity on hand. Keep in mind that once you enter your starting quantity on hand and save the product, you will have to go to Adjust Quantity to make changes to your quantity on hand. The reorder point field is used if you want to be reminded when to order a product once it hits a certain minimum amount of quantity. You are reminded by clicking on the product and service list, low stock or out of stock. Choosing the low stock icon, I will see all the items where the quantity on hand is less than the reorder point. The quantity on hand will show the total quantity on order of this specific product among all active purchase orders. Choose your inventory asset account. Usually this is the same asset account for all your products unless you have multiple inventory asset accounts, which is not likely. Enter your description, which is the sales description. This will show in the description column on your estimate and invoice forms. Many of my clients copy and paste the name field. Enter the sales price you will charge for your product. Some of my clients leave this at 0 if the price changes regularly. This price is simply a default for your estimate and invoice. Enter the income account associated with your product. Choose from your chart of accounts list. This is important to set up correctly because when you create an invoice or move an estimate to an invoice, this is the account it will post to and show on your profit and loss statement. Rules for how to tax a product can change depending on where you sell. If you choose taxable standard rate, QuickBooks will apply sales tax based on location only. For example, if you sell to another state, QuickBooks will calculate the tax for you. QuickBooks Enterprise doesn't calculate taxes based on location. This is a major benefit for going with QuickBooks Online. If you selected the preference to use price rules, you can set that up here for this specific product. There are no price rules set up at this time. I'm going to select Add Price Rule. Here you can create a rule name. Choose which customers it applies to. Choose which products and services this rule applies to. Choose if you want the discount to be a percentage, fixed dollar amount, or custom price per item. If you choose percentage or fixed amount, you will choose to decrease or increase by the percentage or amount and rounding preference, along with the start and end date, which is optional. If you choose custom price per item, you only need to enter the starting and ending date. Once done adding the new rule, you can save and close the price rule page. The last section refers to purchasing. Here you enter your purchase description that will show on your purchase orders and bills. Enter your cost of the product. Again, this can be an estimated cost of the product that will default when you choose the product in the purchase order or bill. Enter the expense account associated with your product. Choose from your chart of accounts list. This is important to set up correctly because when you create a bill or move a purchase order to a bill, this is the account it will post to and show on your profit and loss statement. Lastly, enter the preferred vendor of who you usually purchase from. Select Save and Close once finished. Let's go back to enter another new product. Click New at the top of the right-hand side of the Products and Service page. If you have inventory items that you purchase and sell, but you don't track the inventory on hand, you would choose Non-Inventory. I will edit the Non-Inventory Product Appliance. I'm going to briefly go through the fields because we've already discussed them when setting up our inventory item. You would enter the product name, any barcode information, a picture to show on your products and service page. Then you can choose a parent category if you want to use subcategories. Add a class if you're using them. Enter your sales description, price, and income account. Edit your sales tax if needed. Add any price rules if applicable. Finally, enter your purchase description, cost of your product, along with the expense account. Enter the preferred vendor you normally purchase from. Select Save and Close once finished. As you can see, this is set up exactly the same as if you chose inventory product, except the quantity on hand, reorder point, and quantity on purchase order is not listed. Let's go back to enter another new product. Click New at the top right-hand side of the Products and Service page. If you sell services such as professional fees and not a product, you will choose Service. I will edit the service named Blueprint Changes. Again, I'm going to briefly go through the fields because we've already discussed them when setting up our inventory item. You would enter the product name, any barcode information, a picture to show on your products and service page. Then you can choose a parent category if you want to use subcategories. Add a class if applicable. Enter your sales description, price, and income account. Edit your sales tax if needed. Add any price rules if applicable. Here's where services is a little different. If you purchase a service from a subcontractor, you will checkmark the box under purchasing information. If you do need the purchasing information, enter your purchase description, cost of your product, along with expense account. Enter the preferred vendor you normally purchase from. Otherwise, select Save and Close once finished. You know the drill. Let's go back to enter another new product. Click New at the top right-hand side of the Products and Service page. If you have products that you will sell in a bundle, then you will choose Bundle. For example, let's say we will sell the Black Cherry Kitchen Island with cabinet pulls, but want them to be under one product. We would want to create a bundle. First, enter your name. I'm going to choose Island Cabinet. I will leave the barcode field blank, but I could create my own if I wanted to. You can add a picture. Next, enter the sales description. I will enter Black Cherry Kitchen Island with pulls. If you want to display the bundle components individually on the receipt, checkmark this box. We want to show this as one item, so I will leave that as unchecked. Add all of your products, services to bundle into the finished product. I'm going to choose the kitchen island. 8 cabinet pulls and 3 hours of blueprint charges. Click Save and Close once finished. Let's take a look at how it shows on the invoice. As you can see, it only shows the bundled name. If you want to show all the lines of the invoice, you would want to checkmark to display the bundle components individually on the receipt. Whew, that was a lot to learn, but I know you got this. The second way to enter products and services is to import the list in batch entry. I will go through the steps to show how to successfully import multiple products and services at one time. First, select the gear icon on the top right of your web page. Choose Import Data located in the Tools section of the dashboard. Select Products and Services. The same rules apply as with customers and vendor batch imports. Keep your products and services on one sheet and in a CSV or Excel file. The top row of the file must contain the header title for each column of information so that QuickBooks can match the columns with your file. The product service name, product type, quantity as of date are required for inventory items. If you don't know the current quantity for your product, enter 0 in that field with the date you are importing. If you are importing services or non-inventory products, the product name and product type are the required fields. QuickBooks doesn't say the product type is required, but if you don't enter the product type, QuickBooks will not know if it's an inventory, non-inventory, or service type. Keep in mind, bundled products cannot be imported. I'm going to show you the sample Excel template sheet QuickBooks provides. You can use this template to add your own information. Just delete the content under the header row to add your own products and services. As we talked about before, to make sure we meet their requirements, you are using one file on one sheet. Let's go through an inventory and non-inventory product along with a service item. First, let's enter the inventory product. My parent category is cabinets. My inventory name is drawers. I will enter my part number as my SKU 20750. For type, I will enter inventory. I will enter a sales price of $250. I will enter yes that my product is taxable. I will enter the income account associated with this product. Let's go back to QuickBooks to show you where to get this field. I will just copy and paste this to the Excel sheet. For purchase description, I will enter white drawers, part number 20750. The purchase cost is $125. For the expense account, let's go back to QuickBooks. My quantity on hand is 10. If you don't know what your quantity on hand is, enter 0. You can adjust it later. My reorder point is 15. For the inventory asset account, let's go back to QuickBooks to show you where I got this field. I will copy and paste this back to my Excel sheet. Lastly, if you've entered an inventory product, the quantity as of date is required. I will choose today's date. Now let's enter a non-inventory part. For the name, I will enter wood screw number 4. Sales description is the same. There isn't a SKU number. The type is non-inventory. The sales price is 0 because we add it to our bundles and we don't sell it individually. It is taxable if the product were sold. I'm leaving the income account field blank. The purchase description is wood screw 4. The purchase cost is $15. The expense account I will leave blank. And there is no need to fill out the quantity on hand, reorder point, inventory asset account, or quantity as of date because it's a non-inventory item. Lastly, I will enter a service account. Our service name is permits. The sales description is building permit. The SKU field is blank. The type is service. The sales price is $75. It is a service item, so it is not taxable in our state. I'm leaving the income field blank. The purchase description is building permit. The purchase cost is $50. The expense account is left blank, and the other fields don't apply to a service item. A couple of things I want to mention. QuickBooks Online does not require you to enter an income account, expense account, also known as your cost of goods sold account, or your inventory account on your spreadsheet. I'm going to show you what happens if you don't enter the information. Next, I will go back to my QuickBooks Import Data screen, select Product and Services. I will browse to choose my saved Excel sheet. You can also select a Google Sheet, which you would use the same exact fields and steps. Once you choose your file, click Next. If I click Next, you will see where QuickBooks automatically assigns the accounts for you if you left them blank. I will change my income account and expense account to the correct accounts. Check the rest of your form for accuracy. If you've already imported these products and services but want to overwrite what you previously did, checkmark this box. Click Import when ready to import. You should see a message that hopefully says that all of the items imported successfully. Let's take a look at our items in the products and services list. Here's the cabinet drawers, here's the screws, and here's the permits. I hope this helps you understand why products and services are so important to the setup of QuickBooks Online. And if this part is set up successfully, you will have meaningful reports to get the most from your software. QuickBooks Online has a place to manage your products and services called the Products and Services Center. The Products and Services Center is the hub for maintaining your products and service list, adding new items, keeping track of stock, and viewing transactions related to your products and services. The charts at the top of the screen notifies you of products that are low in stock or out of stock. Click on the low stock icon to see what products are low in stock. Click on the out of stock icon to see what products are out of stock. You can choose to reorder or adjust the quantity individually, or for multiple items, choose Batch Actions. To view the complete list of products and services again, click the blue Clear Filter link. To search for a product or service, use the box above the grid. Try searching by product or service name, SKU number, and sales description. You can filter by active, inactive, or all status. You can filter by inventory type of inventory, non-inventory, service, and/or bundle. You can also filter by stock status of low stock or out of stock or all. You can also choose which information fields show in the grid. Click on the baby gear at the top right of the grid, as opposed to the big main gear with QBO's tools, to add or remove columns. Choose the number of rows to view on each page. Checkmark Compact to decrease the row height on the item list. The other two buttons allow you to print your product and service list and export it to PDF or Excel. Use batch actions to make several items inactive, adjust multiple inventory quantities at once, reorder multiple inventory quantities through purchase orders, and change service items into non-inventory items, or change non-inventory items to service items. Choose an inventory item. Click the drop-down arrow in the Action column to edit or mark that item inactive. Run a transaction report on that particular item. Duplicate the item. Adjust the item's quantity and/or starting date, or reorder that specific item. Auto-create a purchase order. For all other items, you are able to make the item inactive, run a transaction report, or duplicate the item. As we discussed, you can print the account list by clicking on the print icon, or even better, click on the Run Report under the More button in the upper right-hand corner next to the New button. Your product and services list is shown in report format. Click on the gear icon or Customize button to change the current display. Add and/or reorder columns, create filters, and customize your report header. Click on the download icon to export to Excel or Google Sheets or create a PDF. You can click on the printer or envelope icon to print, email, or save as a PDF. One of my favorite things is that you can click on a row in each column and it will bring up that specific item information. You can then make any changes that are needed. If you need to make any accounts inactive, you will have to do that from the Product and Services List page. Click on Back to Report List to go back to our item list. In the upper left-hand side, you can sort and report or add notes. Click Save Customization if you want to memorize this report in the Custom Reports. Click your Internet back arrow to get back to the Product and Services Center. Click the green New button to create a new product or service item, or select the drop-down arrow and select Import to take you directly to the Import Products and Services screen. That's it for products and services. I hope this helps you understand why products and services are so important to the setup of QuickBooks Online. And if this part is set up successfully, you will have meaningful reports to get the most from your software. Hi everyone, this video demonstration is the next in our series, QuickBooks Online Getting Started, Working with Sales Tax. All right, we've gotten to the point of setting up our sales tax. I don't know about you, but it's my least favorite part of the accounting process because of all the different states and what their tax laws are. Here's the good news. QuickBooks Online has sales tax rates built into their software for each area of the country and tracks the information for you. It also enters the information on forms such as sales receipts. When the feature is set up and utilized correctly, it is easy to keep track of what is owed. These processes are critical when it comes to helping you remain in compliance with reporting requirements to avoid costly late fees. In this demonstration, we will go through how to set up the sales tax, how to assign a tax category to your product or service, how sales tax calculates on an invoice, how to manage the sales tax center, how to review sales tax reports, and how to file a sales tax return. First is the sales tax setup. QuickBooks Online gives you the option to calculate sales tax based on the shipping location, or you can create a custom sales tax for company locations that you sell to. Let's get started. To show you how to set up from the beginning, I'm going to use the sample company Craig's Design and Landscaping Services. First, we will select Taxes in the left navigational toolbar. If this is your first time in the Sales Tax Center, you will see a screen to get your sales taxes set up. Choose Get Started on the bottom center of the screen. Our test company's business address shows as San Pablo, California. If your business address is correct, click Next. If you have current invoices with the sales tax already listed on the form, then you will see the taxes that applied on their invoice. I will select California and start to type California. There's only one option for the agency name, so that's the one I will choose. If you have a combined tax rate that charges a state tax and city or county tax, but it's paid to the same agency, you can check mark the combined rate and enter the agency name, which is Arizona Department of Revenue. Then select Apply to have it show in the official agency name. Once you are finished, click Next. Now you need to review your rates for correctness and make any changes if needed, or click Save to accept your rates. Click Continue to view your sales tax center. First, Intuit will show you how to create and edit rates. Click Continue. Then they will take you through the steps to file and pay sales tax once you're ready to choose View Sales Tax Center. QuickBooks has noticed that you haven't set up your filing frequency for the two taxes. Look at the filing requirements and choose the correct filing frequency. If you have questions or need more information, click on the link to see where QuickBooks received their information. Then select Next Agency to finish. Choose the filing frequency for California and save. Now we're going to talk about how to assign a sales tax category to a product or service. The taxability of a product or service can vary from state to state, and in some cases, city to city. Some specific products and services have special or reduced rates and fees. To apply a sales tax category, go to Sales and Expenses and select Products and Services if you're in the desktop view. Or if you're in the accountant view, go to Sales and select Products and Services. Look for the item you want to assign a tax category to, then select Edit. Select Edit Sales Tax. I'll choose Construction. Your categories for construction are shown. Click the drop-down arrow for specific information and choose if it's applicable to your product. If you don't see your product under the tax category, you can go into Other Options and select Taxable, Standard Rate, or Non-Taxable. Select Done, then Save and Close. Keep in mind you're changing the default sales tax. The tax rules you set up here will apply every time you add this product or service. Now let's talk about how QuickBooks calculates the correct tax rate on each sale. QuickBooks automatically calculates the total tax rate for each sale based on your customer's tax status, where you sell or ship, and what you sell. Let's choose to create a new invoice. In this example, I will use recent invoice from Amy's Bird Sanctuary. First, make sure the location of the sale is correct. I will click on Amy's Ship To address to confirm. If you shipped ordered items, add the shipping to, ship via, shipping date, tracking number, so QuickBooks knows where to charge your sales tax. If you are shipping from another address than the one that you verified, add that address to the invoice. Check your taxable items in the sales tax column. Keep in mind, if you haven't already, add tax categories to your products and services. This lets QuickBooks know what's taxable and what isn't. Select See the Math or the total tax amount. This opens the How Your Sales Tax is Calculated. QuickBooks shows the customer's information entered from their customer profile. Click Edit to make any changes. The location and addresses gives you a detailed breakdown of the sales tax. They were unable to validate Amy's address because it's a fictional business name and address. You can also manage the tax rates being applied to each line item on your invoice in case an item is incorrectly showing as taxable and should be changed to non-taxable. Lastly, you can choose the override option to change the rate and/or amount with the reason you are doing so. This could be if you haven't created nexus with the place that you're shipping to. Click Close once finished and go back to the invoice. Keep in mind that tax-exempt rules are not the same everywhere. In some places, not all types of products and services can be tax-exempt. And sometimes, tax-exempt just means that your customer only gets a certain percentage of tax discount. If this seems a little complicated, don't worry. You just need to map your items to their proper tax categories and make sure your customer's address is correct on each transaction. Then, QuickBooks follows the correct tax-exempt rules based on what you sell and your customer's address. Total sales tax rates are the sum of states' rates plus local rates, which may include city, county, and/or district rates. You don't have to keep track of all the rates you need to charge. QuickBooks does all that based on the location of sale or the ship to address you add in an invoice or receipt. Some states require sellers to charge tax based on business location, even when you sell or ship to a different address in your state. If your business is in any of those states, don't worry. QuickBooks knows the tax rules, wherever you run your business. Next, we're going to talk about how to manage your sales tax center. Here you can see all of your agencies that are set up. Once the sales tax center is activated, you can choose from a variety of shortcuts to manage where you collect tax. Other options include running reports and viewing past returns. I'm going to choose the tax period start date of March 2022, ending April 2022. Let's take a look at Auburn, Alabama. It's showing that the return was due on April 20th using the accrual basis for reporting taxes. We will go through how to file your return later in our training by choosing View Return. Click Sales Tax Settings. This is where you can turn off sales tax, add an agency, and manually add custom rates. Let's add the custom tax rates for California. Click Add Agency, search for California. Only one option, and I will accept that agency. Next, select the frequency you are required to file. Your choices are monthly, quarterly, or yearly. Next, select the frequency you are required to file and the start date. Choose whether you pay sales taxes when you report the tax, when you bill, which is the accrual method, or choose cash if you report the tax when you receive the payment. A sales tax liability will auto-populate in your chart of accounts. Click Save. You can edit the tax agency or click the down arrow under the Action menu to make it inactive. Now let's add rates for California taxes located in San Diego. Choose Combined, and let's look at the QuickBooks example. We will enter San Diego for the name of the tax. For the first rate, the nickname is County Tax. Agency is California Department of Taxation, and the rate is 6%. Rate number 2, its nickname is District Tax, and the agency is California Department of Taxation. The rate is 1.25. Your custom rate total is 7.25%. Save once finished. Now we're going to talk about how to review your sales tax reports. So finally, you can see the status of what you owe and whether you paid your liabilities. You can run a tax liability report, which will show the gross sales total, non-taxable sales, taxable sales, and the tax amount due from each tax municipality. Keep in mind that you can customize this report based on the time period and choose just one tax agency if preferred. You can also select and reorder columns and choose how the header and footer appears in your report. You can save your customization by giving your report a unique name or click the back arrow to go back to the reports within the Sales Tax Center. The Taxable Customer Report shows you the customer contact list and if they are taxable and their location. You can customize your report by selecting the Customize button, by adding columns, filtering customers, and choosing how the header and footer appears on the report. Again, you can save customization by giving it a unique name. I will click the back arrow to go back to the Sales Tax Center. Now I will choose the non-taxable transaction review from the report option. This report shows you the customers who didn't get charged sales tax. It could be because the item is not taxable or the customer is tax exempt. I will choose one of the invoices and you will see that the tax field is blank. That means that the item is non-taxable. Click Customize to change the time period. Choose the accounting method, number format, change columns as needed, and choose how the header and footer appears in your report. Run report once you're complete. To save your report for future use, choose Save Customization and enter a unique name. Add it to a report group and choose who you want to share the report with. You can also select to share the report with the community so others can benefit from your report structure. None of your financial data is given to the community. Click Save once completed. Now let's talk about how to file sales tax returns. QuickBooks Online has made it really simple to file your tax returns along with recording your payment for any tax liabilities. From the Sales Tax Center, click View Return. The instructions show how to file your sales taxes. You will see the level of tax rates you used regarding custom rates or based on location. It shows the gross sales along with the taxable and non-taxable sales. Your tax amount due is shown. You can add an adjustment. You would just choose your reason, adjustment date, the account that is associated with the adjustment reason, and the amount of the adjustment. Click Add once finished. Click here to view the sales tax liability report. Click Record Payment to create a transaction and post to your bank register. It is important to record all sales tax payments using the Record Payment option in the Sales Tax Center. Complete the following instructions. Most sales tax agencies have an online system for completing filing requirements and making payments. Verify your tax amount or change, but I highly recommend you go with the default tax amount. Enter your payment date and select your bank account. Add a memo if you want to add the period end, tax type, that sort of information. Check mark to print check unless you've already created the check. Once finished, record payment. Hi everyone, this video demonstration is the next in our series QuickBooks Online Getting Started, working with the Banking Center. In this demonstration, we will go through an overview of the Banking Center, how to connect bank and credit card accounts automatically, how to connect bank and credit card accounts manually, how to manage transactions, how to get your data automatically into QuickBooks through app transactions, how to set up your rules, how to set up your tags, and what is receipt capture, how to reconcile bank and credit card accounts. Let's get started. The Banking Center in QuickBooks is the central location for managing day-to-day bank transactions downloaded from your bank and credit card accounts. QuickBooks includes a powerful feature referred to as the bank feed. In other words, you can connect your online bank and credit card accounts directly to your QuickBooks company file. Connecting your bank and credit card accounts to QuickBooks Online is a great way to track income and spending without having to manually enter every transaction. Only recording income through sales forms while leaving out expenses provides an incomplete perspective of your business's overall health. However, creating records for every transaction can be a huge task. If you connect your online bank accounts in QuickBooks Online, the program will automatically download the last 90 days of transactions recorded by your bank. The program will match existing entries already in QuickBooks Online and add new records for incoming transactions without a matching entry. This feature ensures your accounts are always up to date and drastically reduces the amount of daily data entry. The efficiencies built into the Banking Center translate into higher profit margins, better and real-time data, and a more profitable business. Connecting bank and credit card accounts to QuickBooks Online is a simple process. It is important you understand how to manage the Banking Center to avoid posting old and/or duplicate transactions. Although connecting your bank and credit card accounts is a great way to enter historical transactions, it is recommended that new users also become comfortable manually entering transactions. You can connect and download transactions from many types of accounts: business checking, savings, money market, credit card, and PayPal accounts. You may need to manually export a downloaded file from your bank and upload it to the Banking Center. I would advise to try to connect your accounts automatically. If the bank does not allow that, then proceed with uploading the transactions manually. Let's go over how to connect a bank or credit card account to QuickBooks and then choose how far back you want QuickBooks to pull your transaction history. To get started within the desktop view, go to Bookkeeping, select Transactions. Within the Accountant view, you simply choose Banking. You should be able to view the Banking Center. If this is the first bank account you've set up, select Connect Account or select Link Account if you've already created one. If you come over from QuickBooks Desktop, you'll have to connect your bank and credit card accounts again for security reasons. In the search field, enter the name for your bank, credit card, or credit union. If you can't find your bank but still want to add your transactions, you can manually upload your bank transactions. We will demonstrate this in the next section of our training. I'm going to add a credit card account from American Express. I will sign into my account with my user ID and password. If you have multiple accounts with the institution you're setting up, you can choose one account or all to connect to. I'm going to just choose one of my accounts, then select the account type drop-down arrow. Choose the account type that matches your chart of accounts in QuickBooks. If you don't see the right account type in the drop-down, select Add New to create a new bank or credit card account in your chart of accounts. Select how far back you want to download your transactions. Some banks let you download for the last 90 days of transactions. Others can go as far back as 24 months. If you want to connect your bank account from your chart of accounts, you would go to your chart of accounts located in the gear icon under the company section. Find the account you want to connect to. In the action column, select the View Register drop-down arrow, then select Connect Bank. Follow the on-screen instructions to connect your bank to QuickBooks. Now let's talk about how to connect your bank and credit card accounts manually. Let's walk through the manual export and import process for bank and credit card transactions. Once you log in to your online bank account outside of QuickBooks Online, determine how transactions are exported, the date range available, and the type of export available. Some banks won't let you go back more than 18 months, or even 3 months at a time. There might be several download file types available, depending on which bank you use. The QuickBooks Web Connect option is preferred. Once you successfully download and save the export file from your bank, the next step is to go to the Banking Center in QuickBooks Online. Our file is a QuickBooks QBO file. Click the gear icon, choose Import Data, select Bank Data. Select Upload Transactions, select Drag and Drop, or select Files, and then select the file you downloaded from your bank. Then select Continue. Account drop-down, select the account you want to upload the transactions into. Then select Continue. If you're new to QuickBooks, you may not have an account to upload the transactions into. If you don't see your account, select Add New from the drop-down to create a new bank account. This screen shows the import is completed and you need to accept your transactions. Select Done. This takes us back to the QuickBooks Banking Center, and the next steps are to categorize the transactions and either add, match, or exclude duplicated transactions. As the bank populates the transactions, they reside in the For Review section of the Bank Center. It is up to you to accept these transactions. Once accepted, they will post to the bank register and move to the Reviewed section. If a duplicate or old transaction appears for review, simply exclude the transaction. On occasion, you might want to undo an excluded transaction and move it back to review. You can filter transactions by date or a specific type of transaction. You can search for one specific transaction by description, check number, or amount. When bank transactions populate in the Bank Center, they look for existing transactions to find a match. The order in which transactions are posted is important to avoid duplicate transactions and costly cleanup. We recommend the following industry best practices order. Sync or import payroll when using a payroll service or QuickBooks Full Service Payroll. Receive payments against invoices and make deposits. Clear up undeposited funds. Apply checks to open bills. and then open and review each transaction. You can access the bank register from the banking center by choosing the blue Go to Bank Register link. Other options include printing and then exporting to Excel. Select the gear icon to add or remove the columns displayed. Turn on grouping if you want the transactions grouped by month, customize transaction details, and choose how many transactions to show on one page. Click on individual transactions to open the window with all the available fields. Notice your different options. Categorize is the preferred option. It allows you to control where the transactions are going and is more forgiving if you need to make any changes later. Find Match. This looks for a transaction that already exists in the register. The order of operations is very important. If you record a check, deposit, or payment with a different date, name, or amount, the banking center will not automatically show the match, and you will use the Find Match here. When I choose to find match, I can filter transactions within a specific period to locate the transaction. Next is the Record as Transfer. This recognizes transfers between accounts and sometimes picks up expenses or ACH payments as transfers. Transfers do not require a vendor name. Let's say you are transferring funds from the checking to the savings account. You can use Record as Transfer or change it to Categorize, create a vendor name transfer, and select the savings account as the category from the chart of accounts. Transfers are not as forgiving if you need to make edits later. Also, it only recognizes balance sheet accounts. Next, you can record as a credit card payment. This is a new 2020 feature that creates a payment from the checking to the credit card account. This feature is not as forgiving as Categorize and harder to change later. It only recognizes credit card accounts in the chart of accounts. You can use this for credit card payments or use the Record as Transfer. While this transaction is open, verify the date, vendor, category, and any other fields that require information. When you turn on features such as location and classes, they will appear in each transaction. It is your job to assign a location or class as you accept the transactions. This will prevent having to go back and edit transactions, which is a time-consuming process. Next up is the memo. This is an extremely valuable field that provides bank description information that tells a story. Often the vendor's name and other important information can help us complete the transaction. I use the memo field to get more information about transactions that don't look familiar. Many times they even include the phone number. Notice the options to add attachments, create a rule, exclude this transaction, or split transactions. A split transaction provides the option to split a transaction between account categories and classes. It can be helpful when you need to split an expense or principal and interest for a loan payment. When working with app transactions, select the App Transactions tab to choose available apps that you can connect to for free. For example, let's say you sell from eBay. If you connect the free app to your transactions, they will automatically sync to QuickBooks Online. You can look for other apps for selling from other online stores. Rules are a great way to identify where a transaction should be posted. Rules save time during the review and accept process because they memorize how specific transactions for specific vendors should be recorded. Keep in mind that QuickBooks will remember prior posted transactions and populate vendor names and categories based on the memorization of this rule. Take time to review each transaction before accepting to avoid costly cleanup errors. First, click the Rules tab, select New Rule, customize your rule by selecting the name to call the rule. Since the newspaper payment is paid monthly, I will name the rule Newspaper Subscription. The money comes out from my credit card. I pay for the subscription each month. Choose to filter by any or all. Choose to search by description, bank text, or amount. Choose the condition to contain, doesn't contain, or is exactly the text entered. I will choose description, contains newspaper. You can add another condition. Once this is done, you can select Test Rule. The test will tell you how many unreviewed transactions this rule will apply to. In my example, 10 transactions will be affected. Next, assign the transaction type, whether it's expense, transfer from another account, check payment, or credit card payment. Ours is an expense. Keep in mind if we chose money in, we would have a different set of transaction types. Next, we need to choose the category of the expense. We can also choose 2 or more accounts to split the total amount by clicking on Add a Split. Choose the payee's name, which is recommended to make sure you have the correct transaction. Lastly, type the tag name to categorize for reports. Turn off Auto Add until you are confident using the Banking Center and rules. Auto Add automatically accepts transactions to the bank register without your knowledge. We recommend you change the description to bank text when setting conditions. This will help the system recognize transactions to automatically assign the vendor customer and account category. Now let's talk about tags. Tags are customizable labels that let you track whatever you want. You can add tags to transactions such as invoices, expenses, and bills. The nice part about tags is that it does not affect your financial reports. Track things like subcontractor expenses, sales rep income, or best-selling items. Basically, whatever is important for your business to get a deeper understanding to make good business decisions. Go to New, choose Tag Group. Enter the group name. I will enter Sales Rep. Select the color to associate to your group name. Select Save. Next, add tags to the group. I will add our sales reps, Sean and Jared. Select Done once finished. Now, when you enter an invoice, expense, or bill, you can add the tag. On the Tags page, you will see the listing of tag groups. Here, you can run a report on any tags issued. You can add a tag, edit a tag, or delete the tag. To delete multiple tag groups, checkmark all the tag groups and select Delete Tags. We will go into greater detail in working with the QuickBooks Online series. Receipt capture in QuickBooks Online allows users to directly upload receipts to the QuickBooks Online Banking Center, where QuickBooks will read the receipt and either match it to an existing transaction or allow users to add a new transaction. Because this has so much information, I created a bonus section going through how to use the receipt capture in detail. Now let's talk about reconciliation. Reconciling your bank account and credit card accounts is an important task to ensure all transactions are accounted for, input errors are corrected, and all outstanding transactions are verified. Completing the bank reconciliation process for all financial accounts is key to accurate data in financial statements. Click the gear icon, select Reconcile, select the account you wish to reconcile from the drop-down list. Refer to the bank statement to verify the beginning balance, enter the ending balance, and enter the ending date. Click Start Reconciling. Now you are ready to reconcile the account. Select Deposits and check off all deposit and credit card transactions that appear on your bank statement or credit card account. Verify outstanding transactions and make corrections as needed. Select Payments and check off all checks and ACH transactions that appear on the bank statement. Verify outstanding transactions. Research and make corrections as needed. You can click Edit Info to change the ending balance or statement date. Verify that the following match the bank statement: the beginning balance, the statement ending balance, the payments total, and the deposits total. The difference should be 0 when you are done. Click the drop-down arrow to choose one of the following options. You can choose Finish Now to complete the bank reconciliation process. You can Save for Later to save your work and resume later. You can choose Close Without Saving to start over. Your work will not be saved. Now that we have completed a successful bank reconciliation in QuickBooks, you can click Done or View Report. A reconciliation report will open, providing summary and detailed information. Once the bank and credit card accounts are reconciled, reports and historical information are available from the Reconcile window. If you are no longer in the Reconcile window, click Gear and then select Reconcile. Click Summary to access a list of all recent reconciliation summaries. Click History by Account to access all reconciliation summaries by account. All right, we finished the banking section. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you like and subscribe to my videos.